Alhamdulillah. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most gracious, the most merciful, peace and blessings be upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There are moments in life when your heart feels heavy and no one seems to understand. You could be surrounded by people, yet your soul feels alone. You carry thoughts you can't say out loud, pain you can't explain, and hopes that feel too fragile to share. But deep down, there's a quiet whisper inside you reminding you that you were never meant to carry it all by yourself. That whisper is Allah calling you back to Him. Talking to Allah isn't just about reciting words or asking for things. It's about opening the deepest part of your soul to the one who already knows everything you're too afraid to say. It's not about perfect Arabic or memorized du'as. It's about sincerity. It's about being real. Because the one you are speaking to understands you even when you can't find the words. Sometimes you think you're too far gone, that you've messed up too much to turn back. But Allah never turns away from the one who calls Him. He never gets tired of hearing your voice. In fact, He loves when you whisper His name in your quietest moments. When you cry to Him in the dark, thinking no one hears you, He does. When you ask for strength, He listens. When you break down, He is near. He has always been near. The problem isn't that Allah is far away, it's that we forget to reach for Him. There's something so beautiful about talking to Allah. You don't need an appointment. You don't need to explain your past. You don't need to hide your pain. You just need to be honest. When your heart trembles, when your voice cracks, when your tears fall, these are not signs of weakness. These are signs that your soul still remembers its Creator. Every dua you make, even the ones that never leave your lips, are collected by the one who never forgets. You might think your prayers go unanswered, but sometimes Allah answers you by protecting you from what you don't see. Sometimes His silence is mercy. Sometimes His delay is preparation. You see, we live in a world that teaches us to rush, to expect instant results, to measure everything by outcomes. But Allah doesn't operate on our clocks. He operates on His divine wisdom. When He delays something, it's because the timing isn't right. When He gives you something different, it's because what you asked for wasn't good for you. And when He seems silent, it's not because He doesn't hear you, it's because He wants to hear from you again. He loves your voice, your faith, your trust. Every time you raise your hands and say, Ya Allah, the heavens respond. Angels record your plea. And even before your words are finished, Allah already knows what's in your heart. Talking to Allah is not just a ritual, it's a relationship. The same way you talk to your closest friend, your mother, or your spouse, except this time, you are speaking to the one who loves you more than all of them combined. You can tell Him about your fears, your mistakes, your confusion, your loneliness, your dreams. You can even tell Him the things you're embarrassed to say out loud. And He listens without judgment. He listens with mercy. Sometimes people say, but I don't feel anything when I make dua. My sister, it's not about what you feel. It's about who you're speaking to. Your heart might be numb, but Allah is still listening. Keep calling Him, even when your soul feels empty, because dua is not just about getting what you want. It's about remembering who you belong to. We spend so much time talking to people who can't change our situation, yet we forget the one who can. We complain to the world, but not to the Creator of the world. We run to friends for comfort, but forget that Allah calls Himself As-Samir, the all-hearing. He hears every heartbeat, every breath, every whisper of your heart. You never have to raise your voice for Him to hear you. He hears the dua you make in traffic, the one you make while cooking, while working, while crying into your pillow. He even hears the dua you never say because you're too tired to speak. And the most beautiful part, talking to Allah changes you. It calms your heart, cleanses your thoughts, and realigns your soul. You start realizing that you don't need to control everything, because the one who does is already in control. You start worrying less and trusting more. You stop chasing the world and start chasing peace. That's what happens when you make Allah your confidant. Life becomes lighter. Not because the problems disappear, but because you know that you're not alone in them anymore. Maybe right now you feel like your life is falling apart. Maybe you've made mistakes you can't undo. Maybe you've prayed for something for so long and nothing seems to change. But I promise you, Allah heard every word. Every tear you cried was seen. Every time you said, Ya Allah, was written down. And Allah's not unjust. He never forgets a single whisper. You might not understand it now, but one day, when the puzzle pieces of your life fit together, you'll realize that every unanswered prayer was Allah's way of guiding you to something far better. So talk to Him. When you're happy, talk to Him. When you're broken, talk to Him. When you're confused, talk to Him. Don't wait for the perfect time, the perfect place, or the perfect mood. Just start. Say, Ya Allah, I don't even know what to say, but You know what's inside me. That's enough. That's all it takes. Because the most powerful du'as are often made in silence, with a trembling heart and a single tear. My sister, Allah doesn't expect you to be perfect. He just wants you to be present. He wants you to come to Him with sincerity, with humility, with love. Because when you do, you will find something that no person, no wealth, and no success can give you. Peace. Real, lasting peace. The kind that lives in your heart and stays even when everything else falls apart. Have you ever noticed how your heart softens when you finally break down and talk to Allah? It's almost like you've been holding your breath for too long, and then suddenly, when you whisper His name, everything inside you exhales. The pain doesn't vanish, but it feels lighter. The world doesn't change, but your heart does. That's the secret of dua. It transforms the inside before it transforms the outside. It's not about changing your situation, it's about changing how you carry it. Because the truth is, Allah might not always remove the mountain in front of you, but He will strengthen your legs so you can climb it. Sometimes you will make dua and see no change. You'll wonder, why isn't Allah answering me? But what if I told you He already did, just not in the way you expected? What if that delay was protecting you? What if that no was a mercy disguised as a heartbreak? What if Allah's plan for you was so much greater, but you were too focused on one door that you didn't notice the windows He was opening for you? Allah is never ignoring you. He's preparing you. Every delay, every redirection, every unanswered prayer is a form of divine love. You see, Allah loves when you keep coming back to Him. Every time you raise your hands, even if it's for the same thing you asked for yesterday, you're showing your faith. You're saying, Ya Allah, I still believe in you. I still trust you. That's worship. That's love. Dua is not just about getting, it's about proving your heart still belongs to Him. Every Ya Allah is a declaration that you know He's still in control, even when your life feels out of control. Sometimes Allah puts you through storms so that you'll learn how to talk to Him again. He'll shake your world, not to break you, but to bring you back. Because if life was perfect, we'd forget Him. But pain has a way of humbling the soul, of breaking the walls around the heart until all that's left is honesty. That's why some of the most beautiful du'as are made by people in tears. Pain teaches you how to be real with Allah. When you've tried everything and everyone and nothing works, that's when you finally drop your guard and say, Ya Allah, it's only you. And that's when He responds in ways you never imagined. Talking to Allah is not only for the nights of sadness, it's for the mornings too. The moments when you wake up and realize that the mere act of breathing is a blessing. That your heart is still beating because Allah still wants you here. Maybe there's something left for you to do, someone left for you to help, some goodness left for you to create. You are not alive by accident. You're alive because Allah chose you again today. Don't waste that chance. Don't go through your day forgetting the one who gave it to you. Every moment is a chance to connect with Him. When you're walking, talk to Him. When you're driving, whisper His name. When you're cooking, when you're cleaning, when you're studying, remember Him. The more you talk to Allah, the less space you give to fear and doubt. You don't have to wait for a crisis to make dua. Make dua in your calm, so when the storm comes, your heart already knows where to turn. Some people think that dua has to be formal, structured, or poetic. But Allah is not judging your words. He's looking at your heart. Talk to Him like a friend, like a parent, like the one who already knows your story better than you do. Say, Ya Allah, I'm struggling. I don't know what to do. Say, Ya Allah, guide me because I'm lost. Say, Ya Allah, give me patience because I'm tired. Say it how you feel it. There's no script, no rule book, no perfect sentence, just sincerity. Even the smallest prayers matter. The Prophet ﷺ said, even if your shoelace breaks, ask Allah. What does that mean? It means there's nothing too small for Him. He's the Lord of the universe. Yet, He still listens to the details of your life. You can ask Him for a parking spot, for a job, for peace of mind, for love, for sleep, for anything, and He listens. There's no such thing as insignificant when it comes to Allah. Because if it matters to you, it matters to Him. But when you make dua, don't just ask talk. Pour your heart out. Tell Him everything, the things that broke you, the people who hurt you, the fears you don't admit to anyone, the dreams you gave up on. Talk to Him until your tears turn into calmness, until your heart feels lighter. Because that's what dua does. It replaces the noise inside you with peace. And when you talk to Him often, you start to see life differently. You stop saying, why me? And start saying, Alhamdulillah. You stop questioning and start trusting. You stop fearing loss. Because you realize that whatever you lose, you still have Allah. And whoever has Allah has everything. You realize that every heartbreak, every loss, every unanswered prayer was not a punishment, but a redirection. Allah was moving you away from something that wasn't meant for you and towards something that is. You begin to feel closer to Him, not because your life became easier, but because your heart became softer. You start to find joy in simple moments, a quiet Fajr morning, a kind word, a cool breeze, a prayer that came in silence. You start to see Allah's fingerprints in the details of your day. That moment your heart felt calm, that was Him. That person who helped you when you least expected it, that was Him. That difficulty that turned into ease, that was Him too. He's always been there watching, listening, guiding, and loving you more than you'll ever comprehend. So, when you talk to Allah, don't hold back. Tell Him everything. Don't worry about sounding strong or composed. Cry if you need to. Break if you must. Because even your brokenness is beautiful when you bring it to Allah. The angels write every word, every tear, every breath that carries His name. And not one of them is wasted. And when you're done talking, sit in silence. Because sometimes Allah doesn't respond with words, He responds with peace. That calmness in your chest after dua, that's an answer. That strength to keep going, that's an answer. That unexpected opportunity, that's an answer. Answers come in many forms. And when your heart is connected to Allah, you'll recognize them. There will come a time when you'll look back and realize that the hardest moments of your life were the times Allah was drawing you closest to Him. Maybe it was when your heart was broken, when you felt abandoned, when the people you trusted walked away. Maybe it was when you had no answers, when you felt like no one understood you, when you smiled on the outside but cried in silence every night. Those moments that felt like punishment were actually invitations. Invitations to turn back, to let go of the world for a moment, and to finally talk to the one who never leaves. Sometimes Allah allows you to lose everything so that you'll find Him. Because as long as you have something else to hold on to, you might not realize He's all you need. When everything fades, when everything changes, when everything feels uncertain, Allah remains. He is the only constant in a world that constantly shifts. That's why He wants you to talk to Him, not because He needs your words, but because your heart needs His presence. Talking to Allah doesn't have to happen in the masjid only. It can happen anywhere. In your car, in your kitchen, while folding laundry, while watching the sunset. It's not about a location, it's about intention. It's about those quiet moments when you pause your thoughts and say, Ya Allah, I'm here and I need you. You could be surrounded by chaos, but the second you talk to Allah, your soul finds peace. Because peace doesn't come from your surroundings, it comes from your connection to the one who created peace itself. And when you make talking to Allah a daily habit, your whole life begins to change. You start seeing everything differently. You stop chasing the temporary and start longing for the eternal. You stop begging people for attention because you found contentment in His company. You stop worrying about the opinions of others because your heart only seeks the approval of the one who already knows your worth. The more you talk to Allah, the more you understand that His silence is not neglect, it's protection. His delays are not rejection, they're timing. His tests are not cruelty, they're love. Every dua you make is stored. Every tear you shed is counted. Every whisper of your heart is heard. Allah never ignores you. He never forgets you. The world might move on without you, but Allah doesn't. There's a verse that says, call upon me and I will respond. He didn't say maybe or sometimes. He said, I will, but He never promised when. Because the timing is part of the mercy. If Allah gave us everything we asked for exactly when we wanted it, we'd stop learning patience. We'd stop trusting Him. Sometimes He withholds because what you're asking for could harm you. Other times, He delays because what you want now would be wasted if you got it too soon. Allah knows what you don't. He sees the entire picture while you only see one small piece. So even when you don't understand His plan, trust His wisdom. There's a beautiful kind of peace that comes when you finally stop fighting against what's written for you. When you stop saying, why me? And start saying, Ya Allah, I trust you. That's when your heart softens. That's when your tears become prayers. That's when your pain turns into strength. You begin to realize that everything that happened, the heartbreaks, the disappointments, the failures, they were not random. They were perfectly designed moments to bring you closer to Him. And the truth is, Allah doesn't just want your words, He wants your heart. He wants that vulnerable, trembling, unfiltered heart that says, Ya Allah, I have nowhere else to go. Because when you talk to Him like that, you taste a sweetness. No success, no person, no pleasure can ever give you. The sweetness of knowing that even in your loneliness, you're not truly alone. The sweetness of knowing that your pain has a purpose. You might have spent years feeling disconnected, going through the motions of prayer, fasting, giving charity, yet feeling like something was missing. That something is usually your heart's conversation with Allah. Prayer is not just movement, it's communication. It's a moment to pour your soul out before the one who created it. So even when you pray, don't rush, don't say words while your mind is elsewhere. When you say Allahu Akbar, remind yourself, Allah is greater, greater than your fears, greater than your problems, greater than your past. When you bow, remind yourself that you are humbling your ego before the one who gave you dignity. When you prostrate, remember that this is the closest you can ever be to Him in this life. That moment when your forehead touches the ground, that's where heaven begins. And after prayer, when the world goes quiet again, keep talking. Don't stop when you say Assalamu alaikum. That's just the beginning. That's when the real conversation starts. That's when you tell Him what's on your mind, what's heavy in your chest, what you wish you could say to someone, say it to Him. He listens longer than anyone ever will. Maybe you've made du'as for years that haven't been answered yet. Maybe you've begged for something so long you've started to lose hope. Don't stop. Because every time you ask, Allah writes it down. And even if you don't get it in this world, it will come back to you in the next, multiplied in ways you can't imagine. On the day of judgment, people will see the rewards of their unanswered du'as and say, I wish none of my prayers had been answered in the world. That's how generous Allah is. So never think your du'as are wasted. Never think your tears were unseen. Allah's mercy is vast, and His love is beyond measure. The more you call on Him, the more He calls you closer. You'll notice it, you'll start to crave prayer, you'll start to miss Him when you haven't spoken to Him in a while. That's the sign that your heart is waking up. That's the sign that your soul is healing. And when you reach that point, you'll realize something profound. You don't just talk to Allah to get things, you talk to Him because it feels like home. Because His presence is your comfort, His remembrance is your calm, and His love is your peace. You'll realize that you never needed a perfect life, you just needed a strong connection. You'll understand that real strength doesn't come from having everything under control, it comes from trusting the one who does. There will be a day when you finally realize that everything you were searching for in people, in success, in love, was always with Allah. That the peace you've been chasing was never in the world, it was in your prayer mat, waiting for you to return. That the comfort you wanted from others could only come from the one who created your heart in the first place. Talking to Allah is not just a spiritual act, it's a lifeline. It's what keeps you grounded when life tries to shake you. It's what keeps your heart soft when pain tries to harden it. It's what keeps your hope alive when the world tells you to give up. You see, the world will often disappoint you. People will promise and forget. Friends will listen, but not always understand. Even those who love you most will eventually fall short, not because they don't care, but because they're human. But Allah never disappoints. He never forgets. He never leaves. When everyone else stops checking on you, He's still watching over you. When everyone else gets tired of listening, He still hears you. When you lose everything, He reminds you that He was all you needed from the start. Talking to Allah doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes your soul. It transforms your loneliness into connection, your fear into faith, your despair into direction. It's not magic, it's mercy. Because when you talk to Allah, you're reminded that you are seen, you are heard, and you are loved, even when you don't feel worthy of it. Allah never asks you to be perfect before coming to Him. He just asks you to come, to return, to open your heart and let Him in. Because every step you take toward Him, He comes closer to you. Sometimes we think we're too broken to be loved by Allah. But do you know what's beautiful? Allah loves the broken hearts that turn to Him. He loves the tears that fall in sujood. He loves the voice that trembles when it says, Ya Allah, forgive me. He loves the person who falls and gets back up again and again. That's the beauty of His mercy. It doesn't run out. You can talk to Him after a lifetime of mistakes and He'll still welcome you as if you never left. You can cry to Him after years of silence and He'll still listen like it's your first word. You can come to Him with a past full of regrets and He'll still open doors you thought were forever closed. That's who Allah is, the one who never gives up on you, even when you've given up on yourself. And when you begin to talk to Him regularly, you'll notice something changing in you. The anger starts to fade. The anxiety begins to settle. The things that once hurt you deeply stop controlling you. You learn to let go, not because you stopped caring, but because you started trusting. You'll learn that peace isn't the absence of problems, it's the presence of Allah in your heart. That's why people who truly know Allah can smile even through their tears. Because they understand something most of the world doesn't. That everything from Him, even the pain, has a purpose. When you whisper to Allah, the universe listens. Angels surround you. Mercy descends. Hope rises. You might not see it, but every time you call on Him, something shifts in the unseen world. Every Ya Allah you've ever said has reached Him. Every time you said, help me, He wrote it down. Every sigh, every tear, every broken word, it all counts. Allah is not distant. He is closer to you than your own heartbeat. So close that before a tear leaves your eye, He already knows why it's there. Before you ask, He already knows what you need. Before you fall, He's already written your way back. So don't ever think your prayers are pointless. Don't ever believe that your words don't matter. They do. Every moment you talk to Allah, even if it's just a few seconds, you are building your Jannah. You are building your peace. You are building your strength. Your conversations with Allah are shaping a reality you can't yet see, both in this world and the next. And if you ever feel like you've gone too far, like you've sinned too much, like you can't start over, remember, you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, that means Allah hasn't closed your door. That means He still wants to hear from you. That means there's still time. So start now, right now, wherever you are. Just close your eyes and say, Ya Allah, forgive me. Ya Allah, guide me. Ya Allah, I need you. You don't need fancy words. You don't need a perfect record. You just need a sincere heart. One day, everything you worried about will make sense. One day, you'll look back and thank Allah for not giving you what you wanted. You'll thank Him for the delays, the heartbreaks, the unanswered prayers. You'll see how every no led you to a better yes. You'll see how every moment of silence was actually Allah preparing you for something greater. But until that day comes, keep talking to Him. Keep trusting Him. Keep walking. Even when you can't see the road ahead, because faith is walking even when your eyes can't see the destination. If you could see how Allah protects you every day,